What if the way you spend your free time right now is quietly shaping your brain's future? I'm talking about that cozy habit of binge-watching shows, scrolling through social media, or zoning out in front of the TV. A recent study has sparked a firestorm of debate, suggesting that passive screen time might be more than just a guilty pleasure. It could be quietly rewiring your brain in ways we're only beginning to understand. But here's the kicker, this isn't just about turning off the TV. It's about how we're using our brains while we're doing it, and what that means for our long-term cognitive health. Let's unpack this. Researchers followed over 1,700 people for 2 decades, tracking how often they watched TV and how much they sat at work. The results? People who watched TV very often had smaller brain volumes in critical areas linked to language, memory, and cognitive control. And here's what's wild, sitting at work didn't show the same effects. Why? Because sitting at work isn't just sitting. It's a mental workout, even if you're not standing up. You're thinking, problem-solving, communicating. But watching TV? That's like putting your brain on autopilot. You're not engaging, you're just absorbing. And that's where the danger lies. Now, I want to be clear, this study doesn't prove that TV causes brain shrinkage. It's observational, not experimental. But what it does highlight is a growing concern in neuroscience, the idea that our brains need stimulation, not just rest. Think about it, when you watch a show, your brain isn't working as hard as it would if you were solving a puzzle, learning a language, or even having a deep conversation. It's like leaving your brain in neutral for hours. Over time, that could add up. What many people don't realize is that the brain is a muscle, and like any muscle, it needs to be used regularly to stay strong. If you're constantly passively consuming content, you're not building that mental resilience. But here's another angle, this isn't just about TV. It's about the type of screen time we're choosing. If you're scrolling through Instagram for hours, mindlessly tapping on TikTok, or binge-watching a series without really thinking about it, you're doing the same thing. The real issue isn't the screen itself, it's the lack of engagement. And that's where the rubber meets the road. If you're replacing exercise, face-to-face conversations, or creative hobbies with passive screen time, you're stacking the odds against your brain's long-term health. What makes this really interesting is that the study adjusted for physical activity. Even people who worked out regularly still saw risks from heavy TV use. So it's not just about being fit, it's about how you spend your non-exercise hours. Now, I'm not saying you need to become a monk and never watch TV again. But I do think it's time to rethink how we approach screen time. Maybe set a limit, like 1 to 2 hours a day, and replace that time with something that actually challenges your brain. Learn a new skill, read a book, or even play a game that requires strategy. And here's a thought, what if the real problem isn't the screen, but the fact that we're using it as an escape? We're avoiding stress, avoiding discomfort, avoiding the work of thinking. If you take a step back and think about it, the brain doesn't thrive on comfort. It thrives on challenge, on novelty, on the kind of mental friction that makes you grow. So what's the takeaway? It's not about guilt, it's about awareness. Your brain is a complex, dynamic organ, and the way you spend your time shapes it in ways you might not even notice. The next time you reach for the remote, ask yourself, am I engaging my brain, or am I just letting it coast? Because the answer might determine whether you're building cognitive resilience or quietly setting the stage for future decline. And if that's not a reason to rethink your habits, I don't know what is.